O hidden life, vibrant in every atom. O hidden light, shining in every creature. O hidden love, embracing all in oneness. May each who feels himself as one with thee know he is also one with every other. आज की मीटिंग के स्पीकर हैं नेशनल एंड इंटरनेशनल लेक्चरर सिस्टर विभा सक्सेना जी, और बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक पे वो बोलेंगी सीक्रेट डॉक्ट्रिन के ऊपर। उन्होंने टाइटल दिया है मूवमेंट्स ऑफ द वन रियलिटी, स्टडीज ऑफ द सीक्रेट डॉक्ट्रिन। ये पार्ट 1 है और इसके बाद पार्ट 2 भी आएगा जल्दी। तो इसके साथ ही मैं रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ विभा जी को, प्लीज आके अपना लेक्चर स्टार्ट करें। विभा जी आप म्यूटेड हैं, आप म्यूटेड हैं।
Yeah, sorry. Thank you very much for the kind introduction, Rajiv ji, and सभी को मेरा नमस्कार। आज का जो टॉपिक हमने चूज किया है, मूवमेंट ऑफ द वन रियलिटी, इसका प्राइमरीली हमने सीक्रेट डॉक्ट्रिन में क्या इसका उल्लेख किया है मैडम ब्लवात्स्की ने, वहां से लिया है। इनफैक्ट सीक्रेट डॉक्ट्रिन ये तो एक ट्रेजर ट्रोव है, एक खजाना है उस एंशिएंट विजडम का। And this wisdom, it was given by the masters to Madame Blavatsky. And they gave only that much which was intelligible to man. Man could grasp it at the present time. So only that much was given. There is actually much more to it. लेकिन हम लोग सीक्रेट डॉक्ट्रिन ही समझ लें उतना ही काफी है। So these teachings, they find reference in almost all the world scriptures. Because Theosophy is not a religion, but it is the foundational truth of all the true religion. Theosophy के जो सत्य हैं, जो तथ्य हैं, वो सभी religions की foundation है, but Theosophy per se एक religion नहीं है। तो ये जो truth हैं, जब हम इनकी study करते हैं, तो हमारा intuition जो है वह unfold होता है, और वो हमारे लिए एक बहुत बड़ा evolutionary step है। अभी हम जिस मानसिक चेतना से काम करते हैं, उसके आगे की जो चेतना है, इंट्यूटिव चेतना, उसको अनफोल्ड करने में ये बहुत ही सहायक है। एंड प्राइमरीली इस स्टडी से हमें क्या पता चलता है? सीक्रेट डॉक्ट्रिन जो है, इट इज द स्टडी रिगार्डिंग एवोल्यूशन ऑफ मैन एंड हिज रिलेशन टू दिस यूनिवर्स, एंड व्हाट इज द अल्टीमेट रियलिटी ऑफ बोथ मैन एंड यूनिवर्स। इस बारे में हमें इससे सीक्रेट डॉक्ट्रिन से पता चलता है। नाउ दिस एंशिएंट विजडम, इट लीड्स अस टू द अंडरस्टैंडिंग दैट मैन एंड यूनिवर्स बोथ आर इन इफेक्ट मूवमेंट्स ऑफ द वन रियलिटी। ओके, हियर केयरफुली, मैन एंड द यूनिवर्स बोथ आर मूवमेंट्स और इफेक्ट्स ऑफ द सेम वन रियलिटी, दैट इज द वन। Knowledge of this one, both in itself and in its expression as the many. So that one reality, study of that in itself and as its expressions as the many, which appear in it, that is called Brahma Vidya. Okay, because Brahma is the one. So one becoming the many, that is the movement of the one reality. Now I would like to share my slides with you. So I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So we said that the one becoming the many, that is the movement of the one reality. Now, how do we see this world around us? We experience this world around us as a continuous movement of diversity, a continuous change. Objects of the world, they are sensed by our 5 physical senses. We know these: the hearing, the touch, sight, smell, taste. And then these are interpreted by our mind. So this knowledge about the object, it is a mental state which the object excites in us. Okay, it is not the truth of that object. It is only a mental state created within us, within our mind, due to that object. So it is only an appearance of the object as it appears to our mental consciousness. This is basically the universal illusion. What the mental consciousness perceives. That is the universal illusion. So we are just like fish living in water. The fish knows only water as its world. मछली को केवल जल के द्वारा ही दिखता है कि यह दुनिया क्या है. It sees everything through water. This is the illusion of the fish because the same world outside water is quite different. So, likewise, we are seeing the world and the objects only as they appear in the ocean of our mental consciousness. This is very important to understand because we, at present, in our present state, we are not able to perceive anything other than through our mind. So, it is through this ocean of mental consciousness, just like the fish is seeing through water, we are seeing through this mental consciousness. Let's take another example. Think of it like that. Say, for example, you go out in bright sunshine. So you wear very thick black sunglasses. Now you see everything as dark. It has become gray, as if the day is cloudy. But that is not so. Actually, the day is very bright and sunny. So you are not seeing the day as it is in truth, but it only appears to you as if it is dark and cloudy through your sunglasses. You take off the sunglasses, you will realize that the day is bright and clear. It was never gray and cloudy. That was only an illusion. So, likewise, if we stop seeing from a mental level and we perceive the world through a higher level of consciousness, then the same world will appear to us in a greater clarity, higher clarity, as it becomes closer to truth. Okay, we have to stop seeing from mental level and perceive the world through a higher level of consciousness. So the first step we say is the intuitive consciousness. Okay, then we come to direct knowledge or direct viewing. So those are the steps in transcending to higher consciousness, and then the same world appears to us in greater clarity, which is closer to the truth. And that is why to reach samadhi, mind is required to become still, because you have to stop seeing through the mind. The secret doctrine says that the pure object apart from consciousness is unknown to us while we are living on the plane of our three-dimensional world. As we know only the mental states it excites in the perceiving ego. So our perceiving ego is the manas. Okay, and the mental state which the object excites in us while we are living in this world, our physical plane, it's the 3D world. We can know only these three dimensions. So in this plane, in this state, the mental state, whatever state this object excites in us, that is all that we can perceive. We cannot perceive anything beyond that. So this Madame Blavatsky mentions in the Secret Doctrine. So then what is our consciousness? And if perceiving through mental consciousness is an illusion, then what is real knowledge? So let us come to real knowledge. The Secret Doctrine tells us that our consciousness, it is a ray of the divine mind, which is focused in an upadhi. Upadhi is a basis or a vehicle. Now, through the upadhi of the Mansik principle, okay, that is the mind, through the upadhi of Mansik principle, that consciousness becomes the mental consciousness. The same consciousness through the upadhi of buddhi, okay, now the fabric, the substance, it is the substance or fabric of buddhi. So through that upadhi, the same consciousness, it becomes a stream of spiritual intuition, intuitive consciousness. So you see that consciousness is always acting through substance. Through mental substance, it became the mind. Through buddhic substance, it became the intuitive consciousness. So, which means consciousness, it acts through a fabric, a substance at a particular level, at a particular plane. Okay. Now, once again, for the sake of understanding, let us consider that the mental fabric, the mental substance through which consciousness acts, it has only 50% transparency. And the Buddhic substance or the Buddhic fabric through which the consciousness acts, that has 90% transparency. So you imagine looking at the world through these two levels of consciousness. But the truth of the world or the truth of the object as it exists in the divine mind, that is 100% transparency, 100% clarity. So that is the real knowledge. In fact, the universe itself is an idea in the divine mind. It is called cosmic ideation. This is the term Madame Blavatsky has used in the Secret Doctrine. This cosmic ideation, it is latent and active by turns. Okay, and the fabric of this cosmic ideation, it is the cosmic substance. That is the highest level. Now, till our perceiving ego, it is under the influence of the physical senses. It is enslaved by these physical senses. It cannot attain real knowledge. Real knowledge meaning the knowledge of things in themselves. It will only know the thing as it appears at a certain level to the consciousness, mental level or buddhic level. Okay, the perceiving ego, therefore, it has to progress in a ascending arc of subjectivity from the lower mind, rise to higher mind, to the intuitive mind, then to buddhi and pragya, and so on and so forth. Okay, this perceiving consciousness, it has to exhaust the experience of every plane. That is its upward path. And then when it merges in the all. Now, what is the all? The all is the divine mind. It is the state of totality, which we in Sanskrit we call it Purna. Okay, Purna is totality. In that totality, all opposites they dissolve, whether it is light or dark, birth or death, okay, self or other. So there is no such distinction. There is no duality. They all dissolve. Even the subject and object, they vanish in the true knowledge of things in themselves. How the subject and object operate? It is knower, known, and knowledge. So that subject, object, the knower and the known, they vanish, they dissolve in the true knowledge of the things in themselves. It is the, you can say it is the experience of the nirvanic state. Okay, it is the peak of omniscience. That is what Madame Blavatsky calls it. What is that peak of omniscience? Merging in the all. So when the perceiving ego is merged in the all, it scales this peak of omniscience. This individual perceiving ego, okay, which is ourself, every human being, it is an individual perceiving ego, the mansic ego. By merging in the Purna, it becomes Purna. By merging in all, it becomes all. Right? So individual perceiving ego, the mental ego, each individual man, by merging in the all, it becomes Purna. So this is knowing by becoming. You are becoming that. Okay, knowledge by identity. This is called real knowledge. It is not the knowledge through physical senses. It is even not the knowledge through buddhi. It is only by knowledge by identity, merging in the all. That is the real knowledge. And this identity is Brahma. Brahma is Purna. Brahma is all. Brahma is knowledge. In the Mundak Upanishad, it is declared, Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. He who knows Brahma has become Brahma himself. Okay? To become that knowledge by identity. So this source of all knowledge, which we say is Brahma, this knowledge itself, it is resting in a background. in a background which is unknowable to us. Brahma is the total knowledge that we know or can know. And this whole knowledge itself is resting in a background which is not knowable. That is beyond Brahma. That is Parabrahma. That is absolute. So, beyond real knowledge is the absolute. Parabrahma is beyond the range and reach of thought. Our human thought can never reach Parabrahma. The Upanishads say that Parabrahma cannot be described in words and he cannot be imagined. He's totally beyond our mental conception. So, how do we refer to Parabrahma? In Sanskrit, the term used is Tat. Tat means that. Okay, Tat. And we also come across the term Tattva. Tattva means thatness. So, that stands for Parabrahma. And this Tattva stands for thatness. Thatness is the principles or the aspects which we call Tattva. So they are the aspects of that which become manifest. Because we cannot know that. But the principles or aspects of that which become manifests, they are the Tattva. We can know the Tattva. That is what is called Tattva Gyan. So we can know the reality only to the extent of these principles which become manifest. That is the ultimate reality for us. It is the sum total of knowledge which man can attain. Now, different schools of thought, they use different number of principles. For example, in Theosophy, we have seen everything is septenary. The universe, the principles of man, everything is septenary. In Sankhya philosophy, 24 tattva have been enumerated. In contrast, you see the Shaiv philosophy, it speaks of 36 tattva. So, none of these philosophies are wrong. It is a question of how they perceive reality. See, it is a continuous scale, a spectrum, and you can divide it into n number of parts. Okay, so n number of principles you can have. It depends on which is most suitable for your purpose. And if we study them deeply, we find the equivalence in them. So that is also given in the secret doctrine, the equivalence between the 7 principles, the equivalent between the Panchakosh, and the equivalence between the 3 upadhis, Sthula, Shukshma, Karan. Okay. So when we speak of Parabrahma, the absolute, who is unknowable, and it can be known only to the extent of the manifested tattva. Okay. Now, if we can neither describe Parabrahma nor we can imagine him, he is simply called as Tat, then what is the relevance to us? So this relevance, it is revealed by the great truth given in our Upanishads. Tat Tvam Asi, that you are. Okay, this is the great truth, and even it has been referred in the Mahatma letters. Master says that the person who is an Advaiti, Advaiti is a follower of non-dualism. A person who's an Advaiti, he knows that he is Parabrahma and identical in every respect with the universal life and soul. The macrocosm is the microcosm. So these are the words of the master in the letter, okay, which is equivalent to saying as Tattvam Asi. Even in the secret doctrine, it mentions that when the perceiving ego, so perceiving ego is the human manas, the perceiving ego, Atma Buddhi Manas, when it merges in the all, scaling the peak of omniscience, then the solution of the yet more awful riddle is approached, before which even the highest Dhyan Chohan must bow in silence and ignorance. The unspeakable mystery of that which is called by the Vedantis the Parabrahma. See what this means in secret doctrine. If the sentences are quite long, I agree. Now let's understand what it is saying is that once you merge in the all, that is in the divine mind or the universal soul, then you are actually approaching that level where you can come to a solution of the riddle which is Parabrahma. Okay? Currently, through our mental conception, we cannot know Parabrahma. But at the same time, scriptures say you are that. Tattvam asi. So, how do you know yourself? So, once you merge in the all, then you are approaching the answer to that solution, to that riddle. Okay, so this is a critically important truth which has been revealed in Secret Doctrine. You will find this statement in if you study volume 1. Now, moving on to the one reality. So, in this supreme all, which we called Parbrahma, in that supreme all lies concealed its co-eternal and co-eval emanation or inherent radiation. You can understand this by taking the example of the sun. Okay, the sun and the sunlight. So, sun is radiating the sunlight. Sunlight is the radiation. So both are same, co-eternal, co-eval. Sunlight is not different from the sun. Okay, so same thing. The secret doctrine mentions that within Parbrahma lies its concealed. It is the co-eternal and co-eval emanation, which is its inherent radiation. So, what is this inherent radiation? It is the eternal presence, the eternal existence. Eternal existence is called Sat. Existence means Sat. When we speak of Satchitanand, so that is the Sat, eternal existence within this absolute, within Parabrahma, which can become known to us because we are that. Okay, we are Sat. Sat. Now, also keep in mind, in Sat, see, Parabrahma is the absolute. We are calling that the eternal existence or its radiation as Sat. Now, in Sat is latent Chit and Anand. Chit is basically awareness or the cosmic intelligence. Okay, so it is latent in Sat. And when it manifests, that is the state of Anand. So, this is the subjective aspect, Sat Chit Anand. And in Sat rests the equilibrium of the three gunas. They are concealed, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. They are in equilibrium. So, Sat is also the primordial cosmic substance, the substance aspect. Satchit Anand is the subjective aspect. And this Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, which is also concealed in Sat, that is the objective aspect. Okay, and we are saying this Sat is the eternal existence, that radiation which is there within Parabrahma. So this eternal self-existence, which we call Brahma, in other words, is nothing else but Satchidanand. So Brahma is Satchidanand. And the Upanishads, they affirm Aham Brahmasmi. It means I am Brahma. I am the eternal existence. Now, we have come across these statements, these studies in so many places, not only in Secret Doctrine, Maharishi Raman's philosophy. He says to contemplate on who am I. Now, when he says who am I, it is not really asking us for an answer. Rather, it is asking us to drop the false identity with our body and senses and mind and even buddhi. That is a false identity. Then that which we really are, it will shine by itself. When we drop the false identity, then what is left is the shine of our real self in full self-awareness. So merely by declaring that Aham Brahmasmi, one does not become Brahma. But by dropping the false identity, we emerge as our real self, that is Brahma. And this eternal existence, which is the inherent radiation of the Supreme and in the Supreme. Okay, it's important that this eternal existence is the inherent radiation of the Supreme and in the Supreme all, in that one reality. That is called Sat. Now, so many of us have heard this since childhood. I have heard this chant, Om Tat Sat. People keep chanting here and there, Om Tat Sat. So this chant, it represents the supreme truth, what we have just discussed. Tat, as we said, denotes Parabrahma. Tat, okay? And Sat is the eternal existence, the one reality, the inherent radiation within Parabrahma. And Om is the word, which sets this one reality into movement periodically. So periodically giving rise to universe. So that is Om Tat Sat. Now we will see further what is meant by movement of the one reality. But before that, it is crucial to keep in mind the essential oneness of all. Now, everything in existence in this manifested world, it is an expression of the one reality, the divine unity from which it emanates and to which it returns. So here, essential does not mean necessary. When we say essential, like it is essential for you to go to some place, so that means necessary. Okay, so here the meaning is not necessary. Rather, here essential denotes essence, meaning the innermost core of each being or each thing. The essence of each thing, it is one and the same for all, irrespective of their outer experience, outer appearance. Okay, so because the essence of each being is the same one reality, therefore it is said, everything is Brahma. There is nothing but Brahma. So when we speak of essential oneness, it is not sum of parts, but it is just one reality. And Madam Blavatsky mentions when we take up any theosophical study of this kind, we should always keep in mind the essential oneness of everything in existence. Because the moment we will lose sight of that, she says the study will lose its value. But we need to really ask ourselves how many times while studying this theosophical literature do we keep that in our mind? The essential oneness of everything. Okay. So now having said so, let us understand the idea of Parabrahma and the one reality as Madame Blavatsky gives in the proem of the Secret Doctrine, Volume 1. Now in that in that poem, Madame Blavatsky has written that before her eye is a palm leaf manuscript. On its first page is an immaculate white disk within a dull background. That disk, it represents cosmos in eternity, before the reawakening of still slumbering energy, the emanation of the word. Now let us understand what she is trying to say here. That she says the energy is still slumbering, meaning it is sleeping, it is latent. So this denotes the state of pralay. Okay? Energy is slumbering. That means it is state of Mahapralay. The reawakening of the energy. What is that energy? Reawakening of the energy is emanation of the word. The word is Pranav, Om. And this denotes that reverberation of that sound, of that energy. So reverberation of the sound of Om, which sets into motion the manifestation of the universe. So setting into the motion of the one reality. Now, in fact, as long as this sound keeps reverberating, so it is reverberating even now, the sound of Om, the cosmic Om. That is why this world is in manifestation. So till the sound reverberates, the universe will remain manifest and it will continue to evolve. Ceasing of that sound, it plunges the universe into the state of pralay, into the state of latency, and that energy becomes latent. Okay, so this is about the universe. Now the same is true for man. Man is the microcosm. So when the anahat nad, this sound, the sound of Om, it is the anahat nad in the heart chakra. So when this anahat nad, when the man is alive, this anahat nad keeps sounding. And when the anahat nad ceases, then death will soon follow. That is how the yogis are able to know when the impending death comes to them. Okay. So anyway, now this coming back to this picture on the palm leaf manuscript, which is visible to Madame Blavatsky, it denotes the word has not yet sounded. This white disk is there. The word has not yet sounded. Om, the sound of Om. It is not yet reverberating. So, cosmos has not come into objective manifestation. It exists in a latent state in Pralay. And this white disk, it depicts the one reality, eternal one reality. And it is eternally present within the dark background, which we may take as symbolizing Parabrahma. That is the meaning of this picture which he describes. Now, the secret doctrine says that the white disk denotes the ever eternal nature, sexless and infinite, described in the Rig Veda as Aditi in that, which means Aditi in Parabrahma. So, this HPB has written in the secret doctrine. This white disk is Aditi, and Aditi is in that. That is Tat, Parabrahma. So Aditi, anyway, in the scriptures, she is called Dev Mata, from whom the Devas emanate. Here, Aditi is symbolizing Mul Prakriti. Okay, in Mahatma letters also, how masters have described it, they have called this the disk or the circle as the Maha Akash. It is the endless abstract space. It is the seventh cosmic principle. So these are the words of the master in his letter. It has been called Maha Akash, the endless abstract space, which is the seventh cosmic principle. When we speak of principles, always keep the analogy of the seven principles of man in mind. Then it is easier to understand. Seventh principle for man is Atma. So here this Maha Akash is the seventh cosmic principle. Now, Madame Blavatsky, she further writes in that, in the poem, the appearance of the germ. Okay. On the following page is the same disk, but with a central point. And that point, it denotes the dawn of differentiation. The point in the immaculate disk, it is space and eternity in Pralay. Here, eternity stands for time. Okay. So, space and time, they are in Pralay. That is the meaning of the point. Space and time both are absorbed in latency in Mahapralay, which is represented by the white disk. And this point, it is the germ in the mundane egg, which will become the universe, the all, the boundless periodical cosmos. Okay, so this germ, it is representing the seventh microcosmic principle. That means the seventh principle of the universe, which is going to manifest. Okay, cosmos is the disk which is eternal. Okay, so that is the seventh, that Mahakash is the seventh cosmic principle. And here, this point, this germ, it is the seventh microcosmic principle. So, understand clearly this relation between the disk and the point. Disk is the eternal cosmos, the macrocosm, and the point is that which will periodically become the universe, the microcosm. So, seventh principle of macrocosm and seventh principle of microcosm. Okay. Then we come to the divine unity, which is Brahma. So, this one circle, that is divine unity, that is Brahma, from which all proceeds and whither all returns. So, we have already seen this symbolism, and we also know that Brahma is boundless, but here a circumference is shown. So this is a forced limiting symbol. Otherwise, how do we represent Brahma? We can't draw something which is boundless, which is infinite. So it is a symbol, and therefore forcibly this circumference it is drawn. There is no other way to represent it to our limited human mind. We won't be able to understand otherwise. So what this circle indicates, this divine unity, it indicates the abstract, the ever incognizable, the imperceptible presence, which is Brahma. So that is eternal. Now, within this circle, that plane of the disk, that is the universal soul, but the two are one. Two are one, meaning that circumference, which is Brahma, and the plane of the disk, which is being called as the universal soul, they are one. That circle or the divine unity, Brahma, it was called the seventh cosmic principle. And this plane of the disk, which is universal soul, it is the sixth cosmic principle. Again, related to the human principles. Atma is seventh, Buddhi is sixth. Okay, so cosmic principle, the seventh, which is the divine unity, and the sixth, which is the plane of the disk, the universal soul. Okay, just like spiritual soul in man, the sixth principle. And the two are one. It indicates that the divine unity and the universal soul, that is the seventh and the sixth, they are one. So, Atma Buddhi, what is it? It is the monad. This is the cosmic monad. Okay, this disk, along with that divine unity, the uh, forcible symbol of that circumference, it symbolizes the cosmic monad. Many people have a confusion as to what is the monad. So it is very important to understand this movement of one reality, which is manifesting the inherent radiation within Par Brahma, which is becoming as the the universal soul, that is the cosmic monad. And note that only the face of the disk is white, the ground is all dark. So, this indicates that the plane of the disk is the only knowledge which is attainable by man. Though at present it is very hazy for man. We do not know, we are perceiving by mental consciousness. What we know on the physical plane itself is so incorrect, impure, whatever you may call it. Okay, but it is possible for us to attain the knowledge which is represented by the plane of the disk. So that is the potential of man. Why? Because Tattvam Asi, you are that. You are that cosmic monad. Just look at the potential within man. So, when man attains conscious identity with the divine unity is Brahma. And when man attains conscious identity with that divine unity, then he attains this highest knowledge. We have already seen that this is called knowledge by identity. It is the true knowledge, in contrast to knowledge attained through physical senses, which is only an appearance in the mind. Okay? In the Mahatma letters to AP Senate, Master has repeatedly cautioned that the aspirant should not be taken in by appearances, which means not to mistake phenomenal knowledge attained through physical senses and interpreted by the mind as true knowledge. That is not true knowledge. Okay. Now, on a lighter note, we always say that seeing is believing. Don't believe what you hear, but seeing is called believing. Now, here what Master was saying, that even what you're seeing through physical eyes. So that is also only an appearance. Okay? True, that is not true knowledge. So therefore, on this plane, on this the plane of that disk, that is the universal soul, that is where the manavantrik manifestations they begin. That is the beginning of the universe, the manvantrik manifestations. What it means, that the germ, that point in the disk, it becomes the universe and then again it dissolves. So these are the cycles of manifestation and dissolution. They begin on the plane of this disk. The plane of the disk is the universal soul. So it is correctly said that in him we live and move and have our being, in the cosmic monad. Now, a quick recap. What we said till now, this eternal cosmos, it is this white disk, the divine unity, which represents Brahma, the seventh cosmic principle. And it is the sum total of knowledge which man can become conscious of. It is the supreme consciousness which we can attain. And the plane of the disk, it is the spiritual soul, sixth principle of the universe. In the spiritual soul exists the divine thought containing the plan and the hierarchy of every future universe. Okay, this universal soul, we said it is sixth cosmic principle. Now, this universal soul, it slumbers during pralay, which means the divine thought is latent. Hmm? And at the dawn of differentiation, this divine thought it awakens. So, when the divine thought awakens, the word Om it reverberates, and that reverberation puts that thought into objective manifestation. So, our universe is nothing; it is a manifestation of the divine thought. And what is thought? Thought is awareness. Thought is Chaitanya. That is why it is called Brahma Chaitanya. Okay. So, what is Brahma Chaitanya? It is Chit. We said Brahma is Sat Chit Anand. Sat was the inherent radiation. And this ideation, the divine thought, that is Chit. It is Brahma Chaitanya. So, Sat Chit. And when Chit awakens, it is in the state of supreme bliss. That is Anand. That is why our true nature is Chidanand. Okay. So our universe is nothing but manifestation of the divine thought, Brahma Chaitanya. And how it manifests? Through the divine word. The divine word is Shabda Brahma. Now this divine thought, it should, this divine thought, which is also the cosmic ideation, it should not be regarded as the intellectual process which man exhibits, the thinking process of man. It is nothing like that. Divine thought is the absolute wisdom. It transcends space and time. Space and time are not even born. They are in that central point. They are in the state of pralay. Okay, and this entire white disk is the divine thought. So that thought has got nothing to do with the way our mental process works. That divine thought, it is the one self-existing reality. It is the one life. It is eternal and it is omnipresent. So this divine thought, it is the supreme consciousness. It has no beginning, it has no end because it is eternal. And yet it is periodical in its manifestations, because periodically that thought manifests as the universe through that point, which is the space and time. Okay, so that is its movement. Now let us consider this movement of the one reality. Oh, there are about 10-15 minutes. So this I have quoted from the Secret Doctrine. What it says, that in the sense and perception of finite beings, meaning that finite beings means those who have a limited time bound existence. For example, we have a limited time bound existence, so we are finite beings. So in their understanding, that is non-being. Non-being meaning Parabrahma. Parabrahma is non-being. He is beingness itself. Why so? Because in this all, that means in Parabrahma, lies concealed its co-eternal and co-eval emanation or inherent radiation. So we already mentioned this earlier. The inherent radiation, it is same in every respect with Parabrahma. Like we said, the sun and the sunlight. So radiation of the sun, it is same as the sun. So inherent radiation within Parabrahma is same in every respect with Parabrahma. So this is the eternal cosmos. It is that white disk in the dark background which we saw in the previous slide. That is the inherent radiation. So that upon becoming periodically Brahma, the male-female potency becomes or expands itself into the manifested universe. So who is Brahma? Brahma is the third logos. Hmm? Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma. So Brahma is the third logos, the creative cause of the universe. Brahma is that point in the disk, the germ, which was to expand periodically to become the universe. And universe can manifest only by a contrast of spirit and matter. Right now we have only the one reality. For the universe to manifest, we require this contrast of spirit and matter. So that is the male and female potency of Brahma, the divine unity becoming polarized into duality. Then HPB gives the Hindu Puranic description of this movement of the one reality. She writes further, Narayan moving on the abstract waters of space is transformed into the waters of concrete substance moved by him, who now becomes the manifested word or logos. So I will just explain this para and then we can quickly stop because I would like to take question and answers or discussion. Uh, so what was abstract? Because it was in pralay. Now that becomes concrete. Abstract waters of space. That what does it denote? It denotes the abstract substance. Substance is what? Mula Prakriti. Okay, so abstract waters, that is Mula Prakriti, which was called as Aditi. Now, sorry, that abstract waters, it becomes concrete, meaning objective substance. This objective substance is the source material for manifesting the phenomenal universe. So, which is the first substance? It is the first cosmic element called Akash. Okay, and then from Akash, the remaining four cosmic elements, they are emanated one after the other. So that abstract primordial cosmic substance, which is Mool Prakriti, it becomes concrete, objective substance. Now, this uh, the statement says Narayan moving on the waters. Narayan is second logos, is Vishnu. In the Puran, Vishnu is described as sleeping on the coils of the great serpent, Ananta, in the middle of the ocean. Now, this sleeping Vishnu, he denotes the cosmic ideation which is latent. Sleeping Vishnu. So, ideation is latent. Okay. So, this is Chit, Satchitanand. This is Chit, awareness, which is latent. Narayan is sleeping. Okay. And in this ideation, all the plan of all the future universes, future cosmogonies is there. And the ocean on which he is sleeping, that abstract waters of space, what it denotes? It denotes the pre-cosmic root substance, the abstract substance, Mool Prakriti or Sat. So you see, Chit is inherent in Sat. It is latent in Sat. Chit is Narayan, the cosmic ideation, the intelligence, cosmic intelligence. And this waters of space, the pre-cosmic root substance is Mool Prakriti or Sat. So this term, the next term, that is Ananta. Now Anant means something which is without end. It has no limitless. Sitting here on Anant, sleeping on Anant, it means eternally, without end. Narayan, that cosmic intelligence, he is resting here eternally. It means he is transcendent to the universe. He is always here, whether or not the universe is in manifestation. So that is the transcendent God. And when the universe manifests, then Narayan is also pervading the universe, the immanent God. So sleeping Narayan signifies that state of Mahapralay. Space and time are absorbed in it. Ideation is latent. And Narayan moving on the waters, that signifies awakening of the second logos, awakening of the cosmic ideation, okay, the universal soul. So this is the movement of the one reality. This movement, it heralds the dawn of manifestation of the universe and thus ending of that pralay. So this dawn of manifestation, this movement, it is expressed as manifestation of Brahma, the third logos. And Brahma, that third logos, is the universal mind. Because now universe has to come into existence. So he is the universal mind, the center of creative energy. And this center is very, very within the divine unity, it is within Brahma. It is that point which has to expand to become the universe. HPB has stated in the secret doctrine that Brahma is in actuality a male female duality. We said that because this contrast is required for universe to manifest, and that is termed in Sanskrit in our scriptures as Viraj and Vak. Viraj is the radiance which becomes this phenomenal world, and Vak is speech or sound. It is this speech or sound, it is the manifested expression of the divine ideation, the cosmic ideation. Okay? So cosmic ideation was Narayan, and this speech, through speech, that ideation is going to be manifested. So Brahma as the creative center, he is called Verban or Logos. It means word. Okay, Shabda Brahma. Brahma is Logos or the word. This indicates creation by word. So this is what Madame Blavatsky has also mentioned in the secret doctrine. Okay, and to add to this, T. Subbarao has mentioned that it should not be supposed that the logos is one single center of energy manifested from Parabrahma. There is not one single center in that white disk. There are innumerable other centers, and their number is almost infinite in the bosom of Parabrahma. So this is the appearance and disappearance of the worlds, millions of worlds appearing and disappearing, and they denote the days and nights of Brahma. Now, this what we have discussed today, the movement, which is the dawn of differentiation, of manifestation, that has been shown in diagrammatic form in the Isis Unveiled, in that volume 2. So with this diagram, we will conclude the session today, and I will quickly explain what is written, what this diagram shows. It is showing this movement of one reality that we have discussed. At the top, you can see it mentions Aditi. Aditi in that. And that stands for Parabrahma or beingness. That is Tat. Now, within it, within Parabrahma is the inherent radiation. You can see the rays shown in the diagram in which Aditi is mentioned. Those rays are the inherent radiation. This radiation is the cosmic intelligence, the divine ideation. It is also called Mahat or Mahabuddhi. And it is described in metaphor as Narayan sleeping on the waters of deep. So these are the eternal worlds. You see on the left side, the eternal worlds, that means time and space, they are in pralay, in these eternal worlds. And then comes the dawn of differentiation, that is described as Narayan moving on the waters of deep. The waters is Aditi. Okay, so that is when Narayan moves, that symbolizes the sounding of the Om and manifesting of Brahma, the universal mind. So that Brahma who becomes active. Okay, and Brahma gives rise to the male and female potencies, which are Vak and Viraj. So you can see in the diagram it has been shown that these two rays from Brahma, that is Vak, it is not very clear, but here is the Vak and then the Viraj. This is the Viraj. And Brahma is the sum total of the manifested intelligence, that divine ideation or the divine thought, which is being manifested at this as this particular universe. So Brahma is the sum total of all that intelligence, the sum total of the Dhyan Chohans. And Brahma expands to become the temporal universe. So what we had above was the eternal worlds. And now the expansion of Brahma in time and space, that is the temporal worlds. That is in time and space. Okay. So this manifested universe, it contains the worlds of reality, that is the subjective worlds, and also the worlds of phenomena, the objective worlds. And this universe, this manifested universe, it keeps on evolving through cycles within cycles. Now, Brahma is the manifested being, the manifested universe. So he will have a age. Whatever comes into manifestation has to get reabsorbed. So at the end of the age of Brahma, Brahma himself and together with all the manifested intelligence plus time and space, all of this will get reabsorbed into the eternal being that is Narayan, in the eternal radiation, in whom that cosmic ideation will also become latent until the next dawn of differentiation. So, this is the unceasing movement of the reality. The eternal worlds always remain, and periodically these temporal worlds come into being, and at the end of age of Brahma, they are reabsorbed into the ideation which becomes latent. So, with this, we complete part one of this movement of one reality. And now, if we have any questions or discussions, so then we can take it up.
थैंक यू वेरी मच सिस्टर. कोई सवाल है या कोई ऐड करना चाहता है तो जरूर अपना अनम्यूट करके पूछ लीजिए.
एक चीज मैं पूछना चाह रहा था, बल्कि जानना चाह रहा था कि जो आपने शुरू में एक बात बोली थी कि ब्रह्म ब्रह्मविद ब्रह्मेव भवति,
जी,
इसका मुझे कुछ ऐसा समझ में आया, नोइंग बाय बिकमिंग.
यस.
तो ये जो है, इसको जैसे मुझे समझ में आया कि मेडिटेशन या साधना या जो भी हम लोग इसमें बिकमिंग के लिए, जैसे आपने शुरू में कहा कि सेंसेस से जब हम जानते हैं तो पूरा नहीं जानते हैं, ठीक से नहीं जानते हैं उसको, रियलिटी को हम पूरा नहीं जानते हैं. और तो सेंसेस के अलावा जो इंट्यूटिव, आपने बोला इंट्यूटिव कॉन्शियसनेस, उसके लिए इसमें टेक्स्ट में है आगे चीजें, या किस तरीके से हम उस पर काम करते हैं?
तो वो एक तरह से अपनी चेतना को ऊपर उठाना है. और मेडिटेशन के लिए आप कुछ भी इसके लिए रेफर कर सकते हैं. जो पतंजलि के योग सूत्र हैं उसमें ये काफी अच्छी तरह से बतलाया गया है. जो नोइंग बाय आइडेंटिटी है उसको संयम कहा गया है. और संयम, यहाँ पे संयम वो वन रियलिटी पे है, यानी ब्रह्म पे है. तो ब्रह्म बनकर हम ब्रह्म को जान सकते हैं. लेकिन आप किसी भी ऑब्जेक्ट पे संयम कर सकते हैं तो आपको उस ऑब्जेक्ट की रियलिटी पता, आप उसको जान सकेंगे. उस ऑब्जेक्ट की उसका ट्रूथ क्या है, उसका ट्रूथ यानी हाउ इट एग्जिस्ट इन द माइंड ऑफ द डिवाइन, इन द डिवाइन माइंड. तो दैट इज द ट्रूथ ऑफ द ऑब्जेक्ट. और जो हम इंट्यूशन से या इवन जो हम अपने फिजिकल सेंसेस से देखते हैं वो केवल हमारी चेतना के अंदर उसका अपीयरेंस है. मेंटल चेतना के अंदर उसका क्या रिफ्लेक्शन है वो हमें माइंड से पता चलता है. बुद्धिक चेतना के अंदर उसका कैसा अपीयरेंस है वो हमें बुद्धिक चेतना से पता चलता है. तो हमने अपनी चेतना को उस स्तर तक ऊंचा उठा लिया. लेकिन जब हम सबसे ऊंची चेतना यानी ब्रह्म की चेतना से एक हो जाते हैं तो उसकी चेतना में वो आइडिएशन कैसे हैं वो हमें पता चलता है. So by becoming Brahma, we know Brahma. So this is very interesting. Like the example was given, like for if you become, there's a tree, suppose, and you meditate on the tree, you become one with the consciousness of the tree. So you can know everything that the tree will feel. Okay. Suppose if your consciousness becomes one with another person's consciousness, तो वो व्यक्ति अपनी कॉन्शियसनेस में उसकी क्या फीलिंग्स हैं, क्या इमोशंस हैं, क्या थॉट्स हैं, वो आपको सब पता चल जाएंगे क्योंकि अब आप उसके माइंड में घुस गए. राइट. सो दैट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ नोइंग बाय बिकमिंग.
थैंक यू.
Vibha,
यस विमल जी, वेटिंग फॉर यू.
firstly, I'm super thrilled that you started the secret doctrine study. So it makes all, at least people like me, path is easier. Like you started with the Mahatma letters. Now, there is one doubt which I've had for many years. I never had a chance to ask anybody that question. See, before the secret doctrine and even the Mahatma letters indicated the atom is infinitely divisible. So that was known. But neither the Mahatma letters nor the secret doctrine ever talked about galaxies. The first galaxy was discovered in 1923 by by Edward Hubble and later on confirmed by the Hubble telescope. In the secret doctrine, the word in even your presentation, it comes. There is a universes which keep on appearing and disappearing. Do you think that the word universe here could have signified the word galaxy? Which then makes me feel that is it possible that this universe that we know, which has got so many millions of galaxies, and we have heard that space is permanent. Space does not. Space is eternal. We have heard that in the Mahatma letters. Is it possible that the space that these numerous billions of galaxies are there, it's always permanent, and these galaxies just come into being and going, and that is what is indicated by appearances of universes and disappearance? You ever think that could be a possibility?
So, in the secret doctrine and elsewhere, wherever we have all the description, it pertains only to our solar universe. All the stanzas of secret doctrine, they are also pertaining only to our solar universe. Uh, the description is given that way. But Madam Blavatsky says that those stanzas, the seven stanzas of Secret Doctrine Volume 1, they are given in such a way that they are applicable to the evolution of every system, right from an atom to a planet to a solar system and even to higher system. So what will be higher than a solar system? Obviously it will be galaxy, but it is not mentioned. But she says it is applicable to every ascending system. But we stop our discussion at the solar system because the culmination of the mental evolution of man is what? He will attain to the stature of the solar logos. That is the culmination of mental evolution only. So our solar universe is pertaining only to the level of mental evolution. Okay. Now, as you said that these worlds are coming and disappearing. So it is the solar system, the stars, they are forming. We see supernovas are happening. That means it is dissolving. The worlds are coming into picture. They are going out of manifestation. Now, another thing which you have to remember, just because you cannot see it physically, it doesn't mean it has gone out of manifestation. Okay, because manifestation is not just on the physical level, it is on the subtle levels as well. And what we saw here, that manifestation comes into being through sound, through the agency of Om. The sound exists in four levels. This physical level is Vaikhari. There is also the Madhyama, Pashyanti, and Para. So the same solar system or the star system, which has exploded as a supernova, is no longer on the physical plane, but it may be at the subtle level, the Madhyama level, or the Pashyanti level, or it might have totally dissolved and gone into the Para level. So there are still so many possibilities.
Okay, thank you.
In one of the letter, Mahatma K.H. writes that even as he is writing this letter to Senate, he knows that there is a star which is going into Pralay and there is a universe which is beginning its differentiation, coming out of Pralay. That is mentioned in one of the letters.
Yes. Why didn't they mention the word galaxy at all?
हम सोलर सिस्टम को समझ ले वही काफी है. एंड आई थिंक राजीव जी भी कुछ बतला सकते हैं इस बारे में. उनका भी बहुत ही डीप स्टडी है सीक्रेट डॉक्ट्रिन पे. तो डॉक्टर राजीव गुप्ता, आप भी इस पे यू कैन थ्रो सम लाइट परहैप्स.
सिस्टर का क्वेश्चन जो है गैलेक्सी के ऊपर है, और महात्मा ने अपना जो नॉलेज दिया है वो इसी हिसाब से दिया है कि हम लोग इतना पहले पकड़ लें तो काफी है. एंड एज अबव सो बिलो का होता है. तो इन अ वे एक सिस्टम को हमने पकड़ लिया है तो हम उसको जो है एक्सट्रापोलेट कर सकते हैं, उसको हम आगे देख सकते हैं. तो दैट वे देन गैलेक्सी वर्ड तो हमारा अपना बनाया हुआ है. उस टाइम पे हो सकता है कि वो क्या बोलते हैं कि कॉस्मोस, यूनिवर्स, ये सब जो वर्ड्स हैं वो उनकी लैंग्वेज में क्या हैं, जो अपना लिटरेचर है, हमें उसका पता नहीं है। इवन द वर्ड निर्वाण, निर्वाण जैसे ओल्डर लिटरेचर में आत्मिक जो प्लेन है उसको निर्वाणिक प्लेन कहा जाता था, और उसके ऊपर फिर परानिर्वाणिक प्लेन कहते थे, अनुपर प्लेन को, फिर महापरानिर्वाणिक प्लेन आदि प्लेन को कहा जाता था। तो ये जो नॉमेनक्लेचर है ये चेंज होते रहते हैं। तो आई गेस गैलेक्सी जैसे आपने समझाया विभा जी ने, वही सिस्टम फिर गैलेक्सी पे भी एप्लीकेबल होगा।
Yes. I will touch upon this point again in the part 2. So, Bimalji, it will be more clear.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
थैंक यू सिस्टर। कोई और हमारे जो मेंबर हैं अटेंड कर रहे हैं, कोई वो सवाल या ऐड करना चाहते हैं? माथुर जी।
हाँ विभा जी,
Namaste, Namaste, Rajiv ji.
namaskar. One question is coming to my mind, that
Yes.
one reality, we are only perceiving movement, or there is some other dimension also can be perceived for one reality.
What do you mean by other dimension?
Movement is one dimension by which we do understand. We are explaining it, no? We have beautifully explained it, but without movement, can we understand anything or some in other dimension, which is our perception?
Okay. So, by movement, what is meant over here is the two states. One is the state of pralay, so everything is in latent, there is no change. And the other is when everything awakens from latency into activity. So that is the movement. Okay. So, and movement is, there can be multiple types of movements, multiple things. What do we mean by multiple? That I described by means of tattva, or the principles which come into manifestation. Through that, this movement is being expressed. Now, in Theosophy, we have 7 principles. तो 7 principles से तो पूरी cosmic hierarchy खड़ी हो जाती है. Universe is nothing but a host of hierarchies which have been manifested. So that is the movement. So it is cycles within cycles, the entire movement of cosmos at all 7 planes. That is the movement of the one reality. Movement is a generic term. एक तो प्रलय और दूसरा मैनिफेस्टेशन, जिसे हम मूवमेंट कह रहे हैं.
Got it. Excellent. एक और रिक्वेस्ट है कि आप दो के बाद जब आपको टाइम हो, 3 months 4 months आफ्टरवर्ड, इफ यू कैन इसको थोड़ा सा आगे कंटिन्यू कीजिएगा, इफ यू कंसीडर. ओके, जस्ट कंसीडर.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल जरूर. इनफैक्ट ये टॉपिक इतना एब्स्ट्रैक्ट है कि इसको शब्दों में कहना भी बहुत मुश्किल होता है. But surely we can plan for other sessions.
थैंक यू माथुर जी. कोई और हमारे मेंबर कुछ और पूछना चाहते हैं? तो मेरे ख्याल से विभा जी और तो कोई नहीं है. थैंक यू वेरी मच. आपने इतना एफर्ट लगाया और समझाने की कोशिश करी इतने मुश्किल टॉपिक को, जिसका खुद अगर हम पर्सनली उसका अध्ययन नहीं करेंगे किताब खोल के, और तो फिर हम लोग के लिए फिर ये थोड़े टाइम के बाद में हमारे फिर जहन से निकल जाएगा. तो मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि हम लोग को भी अब सीक्रेट डॉक्ट्रिन खोल के और इसको देखना चाहिए, ताकि हमारे भी धीरे धीरे 5-5, 10 मिनट भी पढ़ें डेली, तो भी काफी हमारे को हेल्प मिलेगी. फिर हम एक जगह पे जो हमारे को प्रॉब्लम्स आ रही उसको नेक्स्ट टाइम हम विभा जी से पूछें,
बिल्कुल,
ताकि जो है इजी रहेगा, फिर इंटरेक्टिव भी रहेगा. सुषमा जी, आप कुछ बोलना चाह रही हैं? सुषमा जी, आप कुछ बोलना चाह रही तो अनम्यूट करके पूछ लीजिए. अच्छा, चले गए, कोई नहीं. सो जी, अब हम मीटिंग को क्लोज करते हैं विद द यूनिवर्सल प्रेयर. O hidden life, vibrant in every atom. O hidden light, shining in every creature. O hidden love, embracing all in oneness. May each who feels himself as one with thee know He is also one with every other. Thank you to all. Thank you to Vibha ji.
Thank you.
Thank you. Meeting को अपनी close करते हैं.
Thank you very much. Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you.